last drove the Mercedes SL, I wondered whether it was worthy of its name. You see, SL stands for Sport Light, and the 350 version I had wasn't really either. However, thanks to a facility in Falterbach, Germany, you can have an SL or any Merc, come to think of it, with an extra sporting edge. It's called AMG, and its job is to rip your face off. As with most of these things, AMG goes back a long, long way. It began life in 1967 as a race engine forge founded by Hans-Werner Albrecht and Erhard Melcher, both former Mercedes engineers. The name AMG comes from its founders' surnames and Albrecht's hometown of Grossersbach. By the early 90s, AMG was known for making mental Mercs, so much so that Mercedes' parent company, Daimler-Benz, entered into an agreement of cooperation with the company, meaning that you could buy AMGs at dealerships all over the world. Just before the turn of the century, Daimler Chrysler, same company, different name, bought a 51% share in AMG, buying the company outright in 2005. AMG cars are now a mainstay of Mercedes' lineup. They're the M to Mercedes BMW, the RS to its Audi, but the AMG take on high performance is ever so slightly different from those other two. You see, AMG cars are mad, not just a little bit mad, but the kind of mad that sits in the corner of the living room counting the weaves in the carpet until it's time to go out to play again. Take this, the SL63 AMG. It's got over 550 brake horsepower and 664 pound-foot thanks to an optional AMG performance pack. In standard trim, it's packing a not inconsiderable 537 brake horsepower and 590 pound-foot. That's quite a lot. You've got to take into account that all of that power is thrust from its 5.5 litre twin-turbo V8 all the way to its massive rear wheels. There's no four-wheel drive luxury here. Now, on a dry day, you'll get from 0 to 62 in just 4.2 seconds, and in standard trim, up to a limited top speed of 155 miles an hour. However, with the AMG Performance Pack, you'll top 186 miles an hour, which is 300 kilometers an hour if you count in euros. So what you say, that's very brisk indeed, but it's not all that. Hell, a V8 Audi R8 can do that. You are indeed correct, an R8 can do all of that, but you've got to remember two things. One, this wasn't designed as a supercar, it was a GT from the ground up. So its job is to take you from A to B as quickly and as comfortably as possible. And two, this isn't actually the most powerful AMG money can buy. That's the SL65 AMG. Now that has way more power, 630 brake horsepower and 730 pound-foot of torque. Incidentally, fact fan, that's more than you get in the SLS AMG supercar. Yeah, we can't get around the weight issue. Thanks to its roof and little toys, the SL63 is a touch heavy. 1,845 kilos heavy. So it's not really able to say it's light as its name suggests, but it's certainly sporty, especially if your sport is the hammer. Good lord, the amount of torque this thing kicks out is just, it's massive. You plant your foot and all of a sudden you feel there's a tiny little bit of a weight, and then you just push back in your seat and you feel 1,900 kilos just fire itself into the distance. It's kind of otherworldly. The thing that makes a good GT isn't just all about the comfort, and in here you do get all of the comfort. The seats can massage you, you can have them heated, you can have them cool. As this is a convertible, you can have the air scarf on, all that trickery. It's the noise of a car. And because this is an AMG tuned V8, it does sound rather fruity. Now that's the kind of noise you want accompanying you on a long journey. Say you want to overtake someone, flip the beautifully machined paddle, down a couple of gears, and off you go into the distance. People will wonder exactly what happened, and it's just a wonderful noise. And even if you're in town, you get that nice little burble, the kind of burble that in your mind muscle cars in the 1970s sound. It's pretty badass, and I really, really like it. And it's all those little bits that pile on top of the standard SL that make it a more complete experience, that make it just better in pretty much every way. This is a GT, but at the flick of a switch, or a foot in this case, turns into a proper sports car. It handles incredibly well. It steers nicely, it goes well, and it makes a nice noise. What more could you want? AMG makes all its own engines, and this car has an engine made by a chap called Stefan because he signed it, which is very nice. And Stefan, if you're out there, if you're watching, you did a very good job. It's an amazing sounding engine. It has all of the torque, and I'm a little bit in love with it. So thank you for creating that so that I could experience it. You're a gentleman. As well as being really rather fun to drive, the bods at AMG have made just a few tweaks to give the SL a bit of an aesthetic boost. That spoiler, for example, the carbon fibre wing mirrors, the carbon fibre in the cabin, it all adds up to make the SL less plain and more what you'd expect from a big V8 Merc. The bods at AMG are an inspired bunch. They see cars and think of ways to make them better, and of course by better, I mean much, much faster. Every car bearing those three little letters is a beautifully crafted piece of engineering, maddeningly fast, raucous, and of course damn good fun. The SL63 may not be light, but it's certainly sporty.